सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Before I proceed further, I want to mention that Ajay, who just gave the introduction of Swamiji, is a product of Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, meaning that he is essentially raised, he has got all his spiritual, religious and spiritual training in Arsha Vidya Gurukulam because of his parents, who always made it a point to come to Gurukulam on a very regular basis. And when we are talking of living successfully, he also represents one of those who has learned how to live successfully. As we will see, to be successful is a process. And every step you become successful until you reach a point where there is nothing more to reach, meaning that human life has an infinite potential. And we will see how living successfully is bringing to manifestation the potential which is there already. Just as mango fruit, when it is not ripe, it is raw, then it is green in color, hard and sour. Then you subject a mango to the process of ripening. And as the mango ripens, we find its color changes, its fragrance changes, its taste changes. From a mango that was sour in taste becomes sweet. From mango that did not have any great fragrance becomes a fragrant mango. Then that was hard becomes tender. And we are talking about subjecting mango to a natural process of ripening, not artificial process of ripening. There can be an artificial process of ripening a fruit where outwardly it looks very ripe and bright, but inwardly it doesn't have the texture, doesn't have the taste. But when a fruit is subjected to the natural process of ripening, then all the potential that the fruit has progressively becomes manifest. It does not become ripe in one day. Maybe it will take 10 days. I remember our own experience as growing up as children. We're living in a town, summer is a mango season, and I remember that my father ordered a whole cartload of mangoes, and there was an attic in which all these mangoes will spread on the grass and again covered with the grass. The roof would get hot, and so these mangoes are subjected to heat and ripening process. Then we would visit that place in the morning, turn the mangoes over, and like that it would take a week or 10 days when the mango is ripe. Then we would have the nice time. So the delicious sweet taste that we find in mango, that beautiful orange color that we see now, that soft or tender touch that the mango has, none of this is imparted from outside. We did not inject any sugar to make the mango sweet. We did not paint its surface to make it, bring out this color. We did not do anything ourselves to bring out the tenderness, softness in the mango. What the ripening process has done is to bring to manifestation what is already potentially there in the mango. If this was not there, it would not come out. So this is called manifestation. What is manifestation? Becoming evident. So that which was potentially there, but not evident in the beginning, becomes evident. Sweetness was potentially there, was not evident earlier, now it becomes evident. The tenderness becomes evident, the fragrance becomes evident, the color becomes evident. Now we can say that the mango has attained that success, beyond which there is no more success, because for mango success is taste, is fragrance, is tenderness. Similarly also human being has a potential that we are also like that mango, inherently very delicious and sweet, very tender, very fragrant. That is the inherent nature of our being, our personality. That's what we truly are. But that may not necessarily be evident right now. When you meet with me, you may find that Swami is a rough person, he is a very rude person. You may find rudeness, roughness, sometimes cruelty, selfishness, fear, insecurity. That's what you find in a person. So we may think that this fear, insecurity, all of this is our nature. And we just take it that way, we accept it, having resigned to the fact that, Swamiji, we cannot change the nature. This is Prakriti and Prana, both of them go together, meaning nature goes along with the life, it doesn't change. So that is the usual conclusion. And often we find that people do not change, even when they grow up they do not change. The mango became mature when all its wonderful qualities became manifest. That mango does not become mature, then they do not become manifest. Similarly also, if I do not become a mature person, my sweetness, my fragrance, my tenderness may not become evident. That means that I have not done what is required to bring that beauty and fragrance and sweetness and tenderness to make it manifest. I have not done what is required to do that. So this is the process of growth. And I mentioned this is a theme of our talks, that our Ajay here also is in that process. One who has understood, getting exposed to the teaching of Vedanta in a place like Arsha Vidya Gurukulam or from those teachers, we understand what the true success in life is, what the true potential is, and how should we live our life to make it a process of success. What we can do is, we make our life a process leading to the success. Sometimes Upanishads compare our life to a pilgrimage. Like when you go to the Himalayas, when you trek to the shrine of Kedarnath or Badrinath, and trekking to Kedarnath maybe 14, 18 kilometers, and it's a journey. Ultimately it will lead you to Kedarnath. But when will it happen that ultimately you reach the destination? When, number one, you travel in the direction in which the shrine is. If you travel in a different direction, we will never reach that destination. So for reaching destination, we should know what the destination is. We should know what is the path leading to the destination. As for example, for coming to the temple from home, of course, the residents here, Dr. Khilnani, they know this place. But if somebody is new like me, I would need those days. These days you have GPS. But when we came to the United States many years ago, there was no GPS. There was no MapQuest also. There was no internet. We learned maps those days. Open those maps and trace, this is where you are, this is where you want to go, and this is the route. And accordingly, you travel, keeping in mind the destination where you want to reach and following the right map so that you make the right choices. Because you keep on coming to intersections. Every intersection has three choices. You can make a right, you can make a left, you can go straight. So which choice shall we make? Somebody says, Swamiji, I'll choose that road which is the most smooth and most beautiful. Or somebody says, I'll choose that road where there are more restaurants and movie theaters, etc. Well, that may or may not be the right road. Many choice depends not upon what looks beautiful. Choice depends upon what leads you to your destination. It may be a smooth road or it may be a rough road also. In those days in the United States also, after the winter, and then the roads there were potholes and roads would break down. But even if there is a rough road, if it leads you to a destination, that's what you will choose. And so how therefore you require a map which tells you what the destination is and what is the road leading to the destination. And of course, you should have a motor car which is in good order, good condition. You also must know driving, you must be a good driver. So motor car must be there, it must be tuned up, and you must be a good driver, and you must know the destination, and you must know the road. All these conditions, when they are satisfied, then you reach the destination. So in our life also is like a journey, a pilgrimage to a shrine called success as a shrine. In fact, really it is a shrine. Because we use the word success. If you use the word God, then perhaps people may get, intimidated by the word God and stuff like that. And then people have allergy for that word also, and therefore they may get turned off and they walk away. But success is something that this word is familiar to everybody. What it means, perhaps it may not be clear to people. But the word success is familiar. And one thing also is certain, that everybody wants to be successful. That also is very clear. Human being wants to be successful. He doesn't want to fail. Meaning that, when do I like myself? I like myself when I am successful. I do not like myself when I am a failure. So it's a process. So what I meant about our Raja is that we learn from Vedanta what the destination is. We learn the map and therefore the path leading to destination. And what it takes to have your vehicle also in good condition, and what it means to be a good driver. You must have a vehicle in good condition, you must be a good driver, you must know the map, you should make the right choices, reach the destination. So this is the process. When all the factors are in place, then ultimately this process leads us to reaching the destination, today or tomorrow. So Vedanta would say that what is more important is the process rather than the destination. Lord Krishna says, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Your adhikara, your freedom, your responsibility is with reference to karma. Karma is the process. What you do is called karma or process. Ma phaleshu kadachana. As far as phalam is concerned, as far as result is concerned, outcome is concerned, understand that you do not have the freedom to determine the outcome. You have the freedom and control over what you do. You do not control what the phalam or outcome is. So in this most fundamental teaching of Bhagavad Gita, most famous, I shouldn't say fundamental, famous teaching of Bhagavad Gita, because this Bhagavad Gita is most well known for this particular verse, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Many people think that they know Gita. So I know Gita. What do you know Gita? Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Yes, that's a very important verse which of course requires a proper understanding. But then Lord Krishna says that you can control the karma, you can control the process, and adhikara means it is your responsibility also to control karma. Make sure that you do what is the right thing to do. That's called adhikara, the responsibility for process. As far as phala is concerned, outcome is concerned, result is concerned, well, Lord Krishna says that I control. Therefore, this success is a process. And what is most important is that we have set out on that path, which is a process which leads to the ultimate success. And what we can tell about all those who have been coming to Gurukulam and who have been fortunate enough to be exposed to this teaching, and those who have developed a right understanding and reverence for this teaching, they are those who have set out on the path of true success, and he is one of those. And that is the success of the Gurukulam. If through the teaching of Vedanta we can make people understand what the real goal in life is and what is the process of reaching that goal, and create a value for that process and create a value for traveling along that road, then that is all we can do, and that's enough. So once you are on the right road, you will reach the destination today or tomorrow. Whether you are a rabbit who can run fast, or you are the tortoise who moves slowly. As long as you're on the right path, you are going to reach your destination. So, success is extremely important to us as human beings, perhaps the most important. Everybody wants to be successful. And therefore you ask any child, what he wants to be successful. What will be his concept of success? Everybody has their own concept of success. Somebody thinks that he'll be successful and becomes a successful physician, doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an athlete, a movie star, a person having wealth or fame or power. Whatever be our notion of success, achieving that is considered to be successful. So this is well-known understanding of success, is that success has an external dimension. Like in an Olympic, performance race, the one who runs the fastest is the most successful. Who jumps the longest is the most successful. Jumps the highest is the most successful. One kind of success. Success of an athlete, success of a movie star, success of a billionaire. There are many successful people, which is wonderful. There are many successful people in the world, and different people aspire to be whatever their concept of a successful person is. So this is fine. This is one dimension of success. But Vedanta has something more to contribute also. Vedanta explains that there is another dimension of success also. One dimension is that the world calls me a successful person. Usually, who is a successful person? The one whom the world calls a successful person. The world has its own criteria of who is successful. Wealth may be the criteria, in which case the one who has the maximum, highest wealth. So what is the latest, who is the wealthiest person in the world right now? Bill Gates, or what? A few days ago I read. Yeah. What is his name? Jeff Bezos. So, he was, he had the most number of billions of dollars. But it goes up and down. Depends on stock prices, basically. It's because all these are all numbers only in books. Not that he has $80 billion of cash or something. It's for his stock, and he has some 17% stock, etc. And so we'll calculate. Price goes down, other fellow becomes, number one. That goes down, a third fellow becomes number one. So Bill Gates had been number one, and somebody from Mexico became number one, and now this fellow becomes number one. But this is one thing, that the world calls him successful, which is wonderful. Who is the fastest runner in the world? Usain Bolt. Fastest one. And he is the most successful person from the spine of the world. Although unfortunately this world championship took place recently in UK, you know that? And this was the last race that Usain Bolt was going to participate in. And he was going to retire with the gold medal in this particular race. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Unfortunately, he did not come number one. Not even number 2. He was number 3. Very frustrating. Because he always prided himself, I am the fastest person in the world. And to retire with this kind of a thing that you are number 3 must have been rather, disappointing for him. And even for his fans also. I don't remember the name of the person who scored number 1. But these days, these races are decided not by seconds, not by even a decimal of a second, hundredths of a second. Formerly, 10 seconds was the magic number for running 100 meters. Then 9.9, 9.8, 9.7. Now it was 9.25, 9.24, 9.285. So second, third digits. Even 3 fellows landed at the same time. The finishing line, 3 persons were at the same time. Nobody could actually determine, who is one, two, but they were all together. The difference was not in seconds, not in decimal point. It was hundredths of a second. So this fellow won by hundredths of a second and this fellow lost by hundredths of a second. You can't, these days you very sophisticated measuring, equipment by which you can measure, otherwise you can't even see. Meaning that when they saw this with their eyes, all of them were together. Who can distinguish between 9.25 seconds and 9.24 seconds? Nobody can. Well, that made the difference. And he was number 3. The thing is, but still, he can be considered to be a very successful person. So thus we accept that this is success as the world calls it success. This is one dimension of success. And this is what every human being always strives to achieve, that success, in whatever field he or she is. But Vedanta also teaches another dimension of success. Not what the world calls success, what I call success. The world calls me a successful person. But important is whether do I call myself a successful person. That's important. This Usain Bolt was a very proud person. He's a very proud person. He always thumped his chest and said, there is nobody faster than me. And I guess there is nobody faster than him. And we bless him that they never... But how can you say I'm the fastest? You must know past, present and future. Fastest means what? There is nobody as fast as him. There was nobody, there is nobody, there will not be anybody as fast as him. Then you can call him fastest, isn't it? So when he proclaims I'm the fastest person in the world, you know something? He has to now keep track of every race that takes place anywhere, even after he retires. He is declared the fastest Olympic race, all right. But as long as he is alive, he will be always watchful of all the Olympic races of 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, wherever he has been successful. And watch whether this new champion he is slower than him or faster than him. You know something? That in order for him to feel successful, he has already set a standard for himself that I must be the fastest person in the world. And to meet with that standard, he must make sure that, or he must be assured that there is no one faster than him, not only today, but even in future also. So every 4 years his heartbeat must be, his heart must be beating. When he watches at 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters. And suppose there is someone who is faster than him, he is no more the fastest person. Is it not so? If his criterion for being the most successful is being the fastest person in the world, then can he ever feel successful? Because how do you know that there will be nobody ever in future who will be faster than me? How do you know? Meaning that he is always in stress. That nobody should be there in the world who is faster than me. And not only Olympics, many other races also take place. So that fellow is always under stress, is it not so? If his criterion is that I am the fastest person in the world, then you can never, Lord Krishna says, Ma phaleshu kadachana. You can never control the phalam or outcome of an action. And therefore, you never know what the outcome of a given competition race will be. And therefore, if your feeling successful depends upon a certain outcome, you can never be sure that you are a successful person. Meaning that Usain Bolt will never feel that he is successful. Understand this. Usain Bolt is an example because recently this thing came, that is why. I just read a few things about that world championship that took place in UK, and this is what happened. This was his last race. He was to retire. And the whole stadium was packed with people. And when the other fellow who actually became champion, he walked in, people booed him. They didn't want him. They did not want anybody to beat him. They wanted him to be champion, and this fellow was... So imagine how he must have felt that you are going there and people don't want you. But somehow he must have maintained a tremendous control over his own mind and not reacting to the situation. And he must have... What an amount of self-control he must have had. That in spite of such discouragement, such insults that people threw at him, he still was able to maintain a disposition of mind by which he was completely under his control of himself and he could accomplish his goal. But nobody wanted him. Everybody wanted that fellow. So the thing is, what is success? What is success? One dimension of success is that I am successful by the standard or criteria of the world. Other standard is I am successful by my own criteria. It is not enough for us that the world declares us successful. It is important that we should declare ourselves successful. Because when do I have satisfaction? When do I feel happy? When do I feel satisfied? When do I, when in my own mind I call myself successful. When I approve of myself. This is a very important thing about human being. To feel approved, we will find that we are constantly seeking approval of other people. Even as I am talking to you, in my own mind the process is going on. Will these people approve of me? Will they like what I am talking? At the end of the talk, if Swami says, Swami, what a great lecture. Okay, I think I'm great. I think I'm great when I get your approval. Why do I want your approval? Because right now the situation is that I approve of myself when you approve of me. Understand this. I approve of myself when you approve of me. It does not matter how my performance is. Suppose there was a musician, there was an artist, people perform. It doesn't matter how wonderful the performance of a musician is. He feels successful only when the audience wah wah. So this is necessary. when there is a singer, then you always have to have some people. Oh, kya baat hai, wah wah. Or whatever they say in North India, they say like that, in South India they were something else. But there are always people who do this. Then he gets further encouraged, and he gets, further enthused, and his performance even further improved. But even a great person like that, who is most well-known musician, he also looks at the audience, and when the audience is wah wah, or once again, once more, or something like that, then you think that you have done it well. Meaning what? Meaning is that human being needs approval. When do I feel happy? When I am approved. Today, when do I feel happy? When I am approved by you, by my boss, you see, we grew up like this. All along in our life, we've been always trying to get approval. As a young boy, I was always seeking approval of my father. And then I would score first rank in my class, and I would bring my scorecard home with all enthusiasm and show it to my father. Look at my scorecard. Hey, I'm number one, rank number one. But what is your percentage? 75%. 75%. Look at your cousin, he scores 80%. That's it. All my enthusiasm is gone. It's like a balloon, which is pricked, becomes flat. Next year again I work harder. Again to get approval of my father. And I get what? 80%. Oh, 80%, not 85%. Some fathers are pretty demanding characters, and therefore they're never satisfied. And therefore, in spite of being a first rank, 80%, I'm not happy if I do not get approval from my father. In that case, it was father. Our Swami used to say, everybody has in their life a significant few whose approval is very important to us. It may be my mother. Generally it is father more than mother, because mother always approves, and so children, then my mother, that's okay. Father is an exacting person, and therefore approve of the father. Approve of the teacher in the class, approve of the boss in my workplace, approval of my uncle who is considered, very scholarly or successful. In everybody's life, there are these significant few. As we're growing up, their approval was so important to us, and we would bend over backwards, we would really work hard, extremely hard to please them. When they are pleased, then they approve of me. And then I feel that I am all right. If they don't approve of me, regardless of what my result is, I do not feel happy. So what makes me happy? Is it the 85% of score that I had that made me happy? Or is it the approval of my father? What made me happy? And not anybody's approval. I remember when we would come from the school and come to our neighborhood, a group of people would be waiting, So one by one people would come, what is your rank? What is your rank? What is your rank? What is your rank? As the children come. And there were some people who always praised me, It did not matter. What that fellow said doesn't matter. This person should say. Merely approval also is not enough. I must be approved by someone who I consider significant, I consider as authority, as important. So it is not my marks also that necessarily means that I feel happy. It is not even the approval from people that I necessarily feel happy. It is approval from the one who I consider significant or important. Why do you think so? Why is it so? Because that is when I approve of myself, understand? So when do I really feel happy? It is not a real given outcome that makes me happy. It is not even the prize that they gave me or gold medal which they gave me necessarily makes me happy. It is not all the praise that people shower upon me that even makes me happy. It is when I approve of myself. Because I know, Raja, what is he going to say? He is going to praise me. I know that. He is going to always talk about the Swami in flowery language, senior disciple. I know all those things. What is important is when I approve of myself. So understand this. When do I become happy? When do I feel successful? Only when I approve of myself. And when do I approve of myself? When do we approve of somebody? When somebody satisfies our criteria. We approve of somebody when that somebody meets with my expectations, isn't it? Similarly, when would I approve of myself? When I meet with my expectations of myself. So this other dimension of success. One dimension of success is what the world calls successful, which also is good. But in itself it is not enough. What is required is that I should declare myself successful. I should be happy. And I can be happy when I approve of myself. And I approve of myself only when I live up to my own expectations of myself. So this is a human being complex. It is very important to understand. Because there are hundreds of successful people out there. There are many CEOs, many executives, many financial people, many lawyers, many physicians, many successful people, which the world calls successful, and we bless them and we wish them well. But important thing is not what others call successful, whether that person calls himself successful or not. So somebody made a survey. Somebody went to these important people who were successful, asked them, how do you feel about yourself? In private, in public is a different thing. How do you feel about yourself? Then they admitted that, no, I don't feel I am a successful person. Why? Because you know something? I have problems with my spouse. I have problems with my relationships, with my children. I can't sleep at night. I'm much tensed. I'm stressed out. I'm anxious. Meaning that even though he is a very successful executive, successful businessman, successful physician, which one, but he did not think, or he or she did not think that they were successful because there was some other kind of an expectation from one's own self. We have an expectation of our own self. And we keep on judging ourselves based on our expectation. It is our nature to judge ourselves. we judge other people also and declare them good, bad, indifferent. So that's why they say, don't be judgmental. That's what they say. Meaning that don't judge and conclude. But we are judgmental because it is the nature of our mind or intellect to judge. That's called intellect, which is a judging faculty. We have a mind which is a feeling faculty. We have an intellect which is a judging or deciding faculty. So every moment we judge. We judge others also, and more than that, we judge ourselves. Because as human beings, we are self-conscious beings. We are always conscious of ourselves. Other creatures also are conscious, not that they are not conscious. Even an ant also is a conscious being, and it knows where its food is, it knows how to survive, it knows where to get the food, it knows how to procreate. So some of the basic things all creatures know. Ahara, meaning they know where to get their food. Nidra, meaning they know how to take rest. Bhayam, they know how to protect themselves. Maithuram, they know how to propagate themselves. So these basic instincts all creatures have, and all creatures have consciousness in as much as to fulfill this basic instinct. That consciousness every living entity has. Even a tree has that. A plant has that. An ant has that. An elephant has that. Any human being also has. But whereas the consciousness of other creatures is only confined to these basic instincts, that they know where to get their food, they know how to protect themselves, they know how to procreate. But human being has much more self-consciousness. They don't judge themselves. See, this difference between other living beings and human being is that other creatures do not seem to judge themselves. And when we judge ourselves, there is always a complex about ourselves, a conclusion about ourselves, an opinion about ourselves, but always a complex about ourselves. I am such and such. For example, a cow is conscious that it is cow. So it knows it only eats grass, it doesn't eat other things, it doesn't eat meat and stuff like that. It knows other creature when it is cow, it knows other creature when it is not cow, and it knows how to deal with dogs and cats and other things, and so it knows. That kind of self-conscious, even a dog also knows. The dog will treat in one way, cat treat in a different way, mouse treat in a different way. So it seems to know. But they don't seem to have what we call a self-judgment. That a dog, in India we have street dogs, stray dogs. Those poor fellows run around from here to there and there to there, and sometimes they're beaten up, sometimes they get some food. They're miserable life from our standpoint. And there is a pet dog. And the wealthy people have, in India still many people don't have, because all street dogs are their pet dogs. They don't need to have a dog in their home. But some people have. And that dog is traveling in a car. And they keep the window open, and he pull, the head is out there. And looks at other dogs. Other dogs look at this fellow. What do you think must be going on in their mind? If we were in that position, I'm looking out and I'm going in a Mercedes car, and other fellows are just, walking on the street and that I'm something, that I'm riding, I'm the owner of a car, a Mercedes car. Look at these fellows, creatures, nothing. They don't have anything. I would feel I'm something. What do you think about that dog? The dog that is going in that car, and other dogs that are on the street, and those fellows that bark him also, they chase him until he goes out of their territory. Because this dog is a very territorial thing, Anybody enters that territory, they don't like it. And therefore, they bark at him and chase him out. Until that car goes out of his territory, until they follow the car. But in spite of doing all of that, do you think that the dog which is riding in the car feels that I'm a superior dog? Or the dog on the street feels I'm an inferior dog? Do you feel so? I don't think so. Otherwise those street dogs would feel very sad, very inferior. They would not be able to sleep at night. They just fall asleep right away. They don't seem to have any such problem at all. This example I must have given in the past. Like there's a dog show where people bring their dogs and they display them. Hundreds of dogs are there, they're all displayed. It's an annual ritual. And there are all those judges, I guess, who go around and then they select, I don't know how do they do that, but they somehow do, this is the best dog. We may not find anything best, but then we are not connoisseurs of dog anyway, so but they would know. So this dog is selected, the best dog. And then what they do is, they take dog around. Because the whole stadium is full of people, and so when the dog is taken around, people can watch, see who is the best dog, which is the best dog. And the owner of the dog also walks along with the dog. Who feels proud? The dog doesn't know, why am I going this way? He just doesn't know what's happening. Why these people are clapping and he doesn't know that little thing. Who is proud? The owner is proud. Does a dog feel successful? Nothing like that. Is it a success and failure for a dog that I failed or I succeeded? When the dog is declared the very best dog in that whole display, in the show, does the dog feel the sense of successful? I don't think so. Who feels successful? The owner feels successful because he's a human being. Our Swami used to say, I grew up in a village. He knew, he says, I know village psychology. Here are two farmers. Each one has a nice cow. Each one is a very healthy cow, giving good amount of milk, maybe 5 liters of milk. So both cows are in health, in age, in giving quantity of milk. They are both of them very similar. So they should fetch the same price, say 20,000 rupees. But unfortunately, one cow has very shapely horns, other cow doesn't have a broken horn and a shapeless horn. So does the cow with shapeless horn or broken horn, does that cow feel inferior to the cow having a shapely horn? I don't think so. And still, the cow with shapely horns sells at 25,000 rupees and cow with broken horn sells at 20,000 rupees. Even though otherwise the cows are similar in all the respects. It is not the problem of cow. Whose problem is the owner of the cow, who has a complex. So this is the unique feature of a human being, who is always conscious of himself and judging himself. So there may be many ways of judging myself. What kind of cow I possess, accordingly, I judge myself. My cow is better than other fellow's cow, and therefore I am somehow better. My car, nowadays there are no cows but car, is better than my neighbor's car, and therefore I am better than this fellow. Or my house is better than, because in some neighborhood, you build your own kind of, somewhere the designs are similar. In some places they allow you to build your own thing. I make sure that I have a palatial house. Nobody has that. And so anybody passes by always looks at this house. Wow, what a house. I feel proud. I feel important. And then so far, recently it happened in New Jersey someplace. This person, he built a beautiful house, $1 million house. And in his neighborhood, everybody really came and congratulated him. Wow, what a house, beautiful. Next year somebody moved into an open plot beside his house, and that fellow built another house. With $1.5 million house, So the sense of importance that this fellow had is no more there. So this is a typical problem of human being, is what? Judging oneself. And my happiness depends upon my judgment of myself. Happiness does not depend upon what I possess. Not that a $1 million house, that necessarily makes me happy. I have the best house in the neighborhood. Not that I have a $100,000 car, that makes me happy. I have the best car in the neighborhood. And whatever the criteria may be. Meaning that ultimately it's not the car that makes me happy. Who makes me happy? Not the car, not the house. Who makes me happy? Myself. Which myself? Which feels superior to others, which feels that I am something. And thus, I am the source of my happiness. At the same time, I am the source of my unhappiness. It's most important thing to understand. Who makes me happy? I make me happy. Who makes me unhappy? I make myself unhappy. Can you believe that? For human being. For other creatures it's not so. For human being. Who makes me happy? I make myself happy. Who makes me unhappy? I make myself unhappy. When do I make myself happy? When I judge myself as successful. When do I make myself unhappy? When I judge myself as unsuccessful. When am I successful? When I am able to live up to my own expectations of myself. When I am not successful? When I fail to live up to my expectations of myself. So I pass myself, I fail myself. Whether you pass me or fail me is secondary. It's likely that you pass me and I fail me. Or you fail me and still I pass myself, What is important is not whether you pass me or fail me. What is important is whether I pass myself or I fail myself. This is very important to know. Then we know what success is and we will work for the success. Then we will do the right process. If you know what the destination is, then the path leading to destination is what you choose. Similarly, if I understand what true success is, then I will undertake a process to achieve that real success. So this is what Vedanta teaches. What is true success? True success is when I declare myself successful. When do I declare myself successful? When I approve of myself. When do I approve of myself? When I am able to, I accept myself. When I am able to live up to my own expectations of myself. So understand that we have expectations of ourselves. This is a very dangerous combination. To be aware of myself and to simultaneously to have expectation of myself. Say, cow is aware of itself perhaps, but there is no expectation of itself. There should be this kind of a cow. Other creatures have some kind of awareness about themselves, but they don't have any kind of expectation or demand that I should be such and such. Whereas human being has these expectations or demands. What do I demand from myself? Is it that what I demand from myself is the same that what you demand from yourself? Or what I demand from myself is different from what you demand from yourself? Are we demanding different things from ourselves? It may look like that one person demands that he should be a successful doctor, other person demands that he should be a successful lawyer, other person demands that he should be a successful athlete. Do we really have different expectations of ourselves? Answer is no. We have the same expectation from ourselves. Meaning that what you expect from yourself is what I expect from myself. What is it? What do I expect myself to be? What is my expectation of myself? That is where then we have to come back again to Vedanta. To understand who I am, what is my true nature. Because my expectations of myself are based on what my true nature is. I have a true nature and I have a notion about who I am. What I truly am and the notion of who I am, so this is what we have. Unfortunately, we have a certain nature, but then we do not seem to be aware of what the true nature is. We seem to have some kind of a understanding or a wrong understanding of who I am. And therefore, I am not satisfied with the way I perceive myself. And I want to see myself in a certain way. Meaning that today I am not satisfied with the way I perceive myself, and therefore I have a certain expectation of myself. In most cases, we do not even know what it is that we are expecting from ourselves. In most cases, we do not even know that we are expecting something from ourselves. And what it is that we are expecting, we do not know. And therefore, we have in our life adopted a criterion for success that the world has given to us. As we grow up in the society, we know what the world values, and that becomes our value. The world values wealth, and therefore wealth becomes important to me. Therefore, I think that I'll be happy or successful when I become a wealthy person. The world values power, and therefore I also have value for power, and I think that I'll be successfully become a powerful person. The world values fame. So these three are there. Power, wealth, power and fame. World values fame. And so I also adopt that this is called acquired values. As we grow up in the society, we acquire values depending upon the values that the society has. And these values essentially are the same. All along in the human society, there is always a value for wealth, always value for power, always value for fame, and then we value for other things like learning, etc. also may value. So as we grow up in the society, these are things that we value. And therefore, we value ourselves when I think I'm a valuable person. I'm a valuable person when I'm a wealthy person. I'm a valuable person when I'm a famous person. I'm a valuable person when I am a powerful person. Valuable when I'm a learned person. I want to see myself a valuable person. And I presume that this is what makes me valuable. And therefore, whole of my life is spent in attaining those things to make myself valuable. So understand, what am I trying? All along, I'm trying to make myself a valuable person in my own perception. How do I become valuable? By acquiring those things that I think are valuable. And essentially all human beings think that this wealth and power and fame and knowledge, etc., learning are valuable, and everybody strives for those things to become valuable. So I want to become valuable in my own perception. So our question then is, what is really the valuable self is? Who is that valuable self? Is it the wealthy self? Is it the famous self? Is it the powerful self? The learned self? Is it the valuable self in my perception? Or who is the valuable self? When I become valuable in my own perception, then alone I approve of myself. Then I feel happy then I am successful. So to become valuable in my own perception. When am I valuable? When there is a value behind all the values. When I understand that value, that is when I become really valuable. So thus, success has this another dimension, an important dimension. What is one dimension? What the world calls successful. And I also have that dimension. But the true dimension is when I call myself successful, when I am valuable in my own perception. Apparently, there is one kind of a wealth which is fame and power, etc. The other kind of wealth that also we have. And it is that wealth which is very important wealth. When I become wealthy, in that sense, that is when I think that I am a valuable person. So there are two kinds of valuable things. One is value based on the wealth that the world talks about. Other is value based on wealth that we talk about, I talk about. When we become valuable in that sense, then we feel that we are successful. And that is a true success. That is a lasting success when we acquire those inner wealths. So with that introduction, we'll continue tomorrow as to how to become valuable in my own perception. Understand? We bend ourselves backward in order to become valuable in the perception of others. That's how the whole life goes. And unfortunately, in spite of that, I do not become valuable in my own perception. If that doesn't happen, then I'm not a successful person. On the other hand, if I become valuable in my perception, it does not matter what other people think. So, criterion of success is that I call myself successful. That is when I am successful. When I am valuable in my own perception. And it happens that what is valuable to me is valuable to you also. Why? Because the self that you are is the self that I am. And the self is the most valuable. Call it self, call it Atma, call it God. That is the most valuable thing. And that is what is valuable to you and to me. Because that happens to be our nature. And that is when we become most successful. So, the success will be measured in the extent to which I have become valuable in my own perception. And we can grow and grow to a point where there is nothing more to grow. Like that mango, you have all the fragrance, all the sweetness, all the tenderness, all the sweetness. That's how we can grow and become most valuable in our own perception and successful in the true sense of the word. So we'll continue our discussion tomorrow. And today we have another task also to perform. As Ajay, last year, Ajay already declared that last